Okay, welcome back. This is part 2 of the introduction to MIS 406. And as I mentioned in the previous video, we're going to pick up where we left off. So here we are talking about course communication. To begin the course communication, and just kind of step back here for a second, if you recall from the previous video, I did spend a little bit of time talking about the importance of communication when I was discussing the areas in the menu area to the left for course communication. Please take a few minutes to watch this another Go Animate video regarding course communication between an instructor and a student in the classroom. And then once you look through that video, read through this information here, but I will tell you that email is the primary method of communication for this course. Again, this is all stated in the syllabus as well, but email is the primary communication for the course. I use my St. Francis email, as you all should as well. So when I need to get in touch with you, I'll use various methods, but email is the primary method. Okay. As I also mentioned in the previous video, I do use the Blackboard announcements areas quite a bit. Okay. So as we're talking here, I just want to elaborate on a couple of points regarding communication in this course. Okay. Different types of communications. We have communication from instructor to student. We have communication from student to instructor. And we have communication from student to student. Okay. So student to student, student to instructor, instructor to student, all should use the email. Blackboard announcements is solely for instructor to student. Phone will solely be for student to instructor. I will not call you unless you call me and ask me to call you back. But I will not call you. I do have an office as a full-time administrator at St. Francis University. I do have an office in the library on the second floor, and I also have an office phone, which is listed here. So you can call me on my office phone. You can call me on my cell phone. I have a cell phone that I use strictly for teaching as well. You can text me. Just please, I don't often, I teach a lot, I'm in meetings a lot, I do some traveling. So if you're not able to reach me by phone, please leave a message, because I check my office phone a couple times a day, and I check my cell phone messages a great deal throughout the day. Okay, so if you're not able to get in touch with me, if I'm not answering the phone, the point is please leave a message, or I will not be able to get back to you if you don't. Okay? Just leave your name and a preferred method to get back to you. So if you prefer that I email you back, just state that, or if you prefer I call you back, tell me that. Tell me where I can reach you. And if you text me on the cell phone number that I'm giving you here, please simply tell me who it is and that it's for MIS 406. Again, I use that phone for all the classes that I teach, and I have 5 classes I'm teaching this semester. Okay. Okay, so the Blackboard messages to instructor forum, that again, I showed you that area over here. I'm going to go back up here and show it to you again. That's this area right here. You can use that to communicate with me, and I will respond back to you using the messages area as well. As I talked about, there's a student lounge area. That student lounge area, this is your student area to communicate with one another. So if you have a question about an assignment, something related to either a technical issue or a content issue, or an understanding of a housekeeping type of nature in terms of when things are due, what's due, what some of the requirements are, I encourage you to post this in the student lounge area. And the reason for this is because, again, in online learning, I fully believe that in order for students to succeed and get the most out of this, that you must communicate with one another. Okay? In addition to simply communicating with me, that should not be done in a vacuum between one student and the instructor. It should be students collaborating with one another and then collaborating with the instructor in this course. Okay? And the last way that we can communicate is in person. Okay. I do have an office again at St. Francis, and I do have regular office hours. And if you are a student that is on campus or live close by, or you want to sit down and talk, we can do that in person. As well, I have an office space in the Career Link in Blair County and Altoona as well. So if that's a better option for you, we can meet up in the Career Link office that I have. Okay. All right, so let's jump around there a little bit. So going down below that, as I mentioned when I was going over the course calendar, I mentioned that every week, in keeping consistent each week, you will have 3 things that you must actually complete, submit, do. Okay, and those three things are a discussion, a quiz, and an assignment. So every week you will have those 3 things to do. So you know going into each week for the 7 weeks that you're going to have, again, a discussion, a weekly quiz, and a weekly assignment. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit now about the discussion board guidelines, just so that we're all clear here, and I post the information here just so we're clear. Where the quiz and the assignment are all due each week the same time, that will be the Friday. If you recall from the previous video and other stuff that I posted, the course runs from Saturday morning, early morning, through Friday, the end of the day, 11:59 p.m. Okay, 11:59 p.m. is another important time for you to remember on Friday, because that is when your quiz and the assignment are due each week. Okay, the discussion board is a little bit different. Okay, and it's different this way. Each week you'll have your discussion board. I'll give you a prompt. I'll ask you a question. I'll ask you a series of questions, and I'll ask you to respond in the discussion board post. Okay. When you respond, that initial response has to be done by Wednesday. Okay, by the end of the day on Wednesday. And I think I note that here somewhere, and if I don't have it right here, I'm going to, oh, here it is here. The initial response is due by Wednesday of each week before the end of the day. When I say end of the day, I mean 11:59 p.m. So for the discussion board posts, again, the course week starts on Saturday, so you have Saturday through Wednesday to post the initial response to the discussion board. Okay, and then you have Thursday and Friday then to post a response to one of your peers' posts. So the requirement for the discussion board is 1 original response from you in response to the prompt that I give you, and then again that's due by Wednesday each week. That doesn't change. And then you have a response to another student's post that you must submit as well. Okay, and that response is then due on the same day, the same time as the quiz and the assignment, which is Friday by 11:59 p.m. Okay? Again, read down through this information about the discussion board guidelines and let me know if you have any questions about that. But in keeping, again, with consistency, because I think consistency in online learning yields success, I'm trying to make everything consistent in terms of due dates and things like that. But it doesn't make sense when we're talking about the discussion boards all saying it's just due on Friday before 11:59 p.m. because of that fact that there is an additional factor with this, that you have to respond to another student. If I just said everyone has to submit by Friday 11:59 p.m., then if somebody submits their post at the last minute, it doesn't give time for somebody else to read their post. So if you submit by Wednesday, everybody in the class will have time to read everybody's initial post, pick the one that they find most interesting or the one that they think they have the most that they can say, and respond to that. Okay. And a little more detail about the response. It's got to be something more than simply good job, nice work. You have to do something. You have to provide some bit of information to that student to either help them with their argument or points that they're making, or asking for some clarification, providing a little bit more insight, some helpful criticism, and such. But it's got to be more than a simply good job. Okay, you are graded on both areas with the discussion board. Okay, your initial post and the response. Okay, moving on. Writing assignment. For every week, you'll have a writing assignment. The writing assignments will be 1 pages. Okay, 1 page. You can go on to a second page. The requirement is that you have to have a 1-page response in that assignment. So for every week, you'll have assignments that are due, and the writing assignment guidelines are first that it's 1 full page. Okay. Beyond that, it should be double spaced, not triple spaced, not big font, something equivalent to a size 12 times New Roman or Calibri or something like that. Okay. Writing assignments again are due on the end of the week, so Friday by 11:59 p.m. Moving down below that, I just posted some tips for online learning here. These are some things that even if you've taken some online classes, you may be able to get something out of this in terms of maybe a pointer that you didn't know, best practice for online learning. So please read over this, and if there's something you can use, great. If not, leave it alone, or refer back to it if you want to throughout the course. Below that are some of the technology requirements. Blackboard is pretty, in my opinion, pretty simple to use, web-based platform. I don't encounter many problems with students from a technical side of this. You will have to be able to have some sort of program that reads a Microsoft Word document, Microsoft Excel, and PowerPoint. Now, one of the requirements that you're going to have to do is you're going to have access to Microsoft Excel, because we are going to use Microsoft Excel to create what's called a Gantt chart. And if you're not familiar with that term, Gantt chart, G-A-N-T-T chart, we will get into that in a few weeks in this class. But the point here is, in terms of the technology, that you will have to have Microsoft Excel in order to be able to complete the requirements for creating a Gantt chart. Okay? That's all I'll say on that for now. Once you get through all that information, watching the videos, reading through this information, looking at the course syllabus, you should, at this point, have a pretty good understanding of what is required of you for this course. Okay? Now, once you get to this point, please introduce yourself to the rest of the class. You do that by clicking on this discussion board right here. Click on this. This is due. This is an exception to what I talked about earlier in terms of the discussion boards. This one is due by Tuesday, October 25th. The reason for the difference is here, I use this introduction discussion area to take official attendance for the class as well. But I will ask you that you please put some thought into this. Give us enough information so that we get a picture of who you are, what you like, where you work, where you live, where you play, what your hobbies are, and if you have children, what you like to do as a family, anything that will give us a good picture of you. You can do this in 2 ways, because I think it's important to be able to put a face to the name in the class. If you can post a picture with this as well, that's great. Or you can record a video and put your video in this area as your discussion intro post. That's fine as well. I know some people like video, and that's fine. That's great. But something that's going to let us get an understanding of who you are, and I think an important piece of that is being able to put a face to the name. So please complete the discussion board by October the 25th, Tuesday. Once you get through that, you click on the what's next, and essentially this is going to take you to this area right here, the course weeks. The next video that I post here will actually be within this course weeks area, we'll cover more of that in detail in terms of the structure of the course weeks. That's it for now. See ya.